afternoon. Welcome to International Women Build Week 2021. My name's Amy and I'm going to show you a home project that you can do, simple and easy. Today we're going to be redoing a piece of furniture, old piece of furniture. It doesn't necessarily have to be natural wood. We're going to paint it using our friends at Lowe's helped us out with some chalk paint. Comes in a variety of colors. Today we're going to be using the white. Here I have a gray finish. Just some ideas that you can do. So if you're thinking about maybe doing something on a budget, a project on a budget, this is a nice inexpensive way. I think this can probably runs about $19, $25 at Lowe's. So if you don't have the paintbrush that they recommend, it's fine. You can just use any standard paintbrush. We'll do the trick. And I think today, this is a white finish, so we might have to do one or two coats. Today I'm going to be using this brush. It's meant for projects such as this, painting wood pieces. But again, if you don't have something like this, a standard paintbrush should be good. So I'll put the first coat. I've already kind of wiped it off. Okay, get your protective gear on, got your goggles, make sure nothing splashes. You want to stay safe. And a little bit of this goes a long way. So I'll kind of show you how it just glides on. Kind of start here, no rhyme or reason. And chalk paint leaves a nice matte finish. There's other things that you can do as a finishing touch after you've painted your piece. They have waxes, stain, that you can stain your piece. This piece today we're trying to have it match another piece that we have already in our space. So we're going to give this distressed look, and I'll kind of talk you through that a little later. But just nice even coats. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it in your crevices. And then once it's all dry, usually I think the can says an hour to two for drying time. Once it's dry to touch within the hour or so, you can decide if you're going to do another coat or not. You know, in projects, the nice thing is there's no messing up. You can make it your own. You don't want to put too much on. Or you can if you want. If you want a nice covered finish. I'm just doing even strokes. Chalk paint covers up pretty nicely. And of course the first coat, you know, it's going to look like it's not really done, but when it's all done, it's going to look like a brand new piece, guaranteed. So I'm going to pretty much do the same thing for the whole project, and then when we're done painting giving it the first coat, we'll show you our next step. Hi friends, so we just finished up the first coat of our chalk paint on our piece. Of course, there's a lot of stroke marks you can see, but that's okay. We're going to do another coat on this just because it was a dark finish or a dark piece of furniture, and we're using a light paint. I'm going to go over it again, same technique, using the same paint. Give it another coat. We'll see how it looks. It's already dry to touch. Chalk paint dries pretty quickly. So I'll give it another coat, and we'll come back and see what it looks like. Hi friends, welcome back. So this is what the final paint finish looks like. It was close to 3 coats. It was a pretty dark piece, so we had to go 3 coats to get it completely covered. It's nice and smooth. There was no sanding that was required. I'm going to be today staining it just to give it a distressed look. You don't have to do it. Totally optional. Lowe's, our friends at Lowe's, they have a nice 3-step process. One is a sealing wax. And one is a stain. So for me to give it that distressed look, I'm going to be using this antique wax. It comes in different colors. I chose like the brown. A little bit goes a long way. I'm going to use very, very little. I don't want my piece to be overly done. I just want just a fine distressed look to it. So I'll be diluting this with a dry rag. I'm going to be using the same brush that I used to paint the piece. It's completely clean and dry. And then my final step, when it's all said and done, I'm going to seal it with a sealing wax. That way the piece can be nice and smooth. You'll be able to wipe it down. after it cures. On the back of the can, it tells you how long you need to wait before you clean it or polish it with anything. So for today, I'm going to start with, again, doing a light staining just to give it a distressed look, and then I'll follow up with a sealing wax over top. All right, so I'm going to use a little bit of this to give it the antique distress look. I'm going to use some of this antique wax. A little bit goes a long way. I don't want this piece to be over bearing with a bunch of wax. So I just want a light distress. So I diluted it a little bit. I just have a cup of water here. I just dipped my brush bristles in there and just kind of dabbed it because I really don't want it to be too heavy. You want to do even strokes on it. Have an old white t-shirt readily available, because once you do your strokes, you're going to go right behind it and kind of wipe it off in one direction. You don't want this to sit too long because it is a stain. And again, I'm not looking for a very dark piece. I'm trying to give it a distressed look. So, if you want to do a test spot first, you can, so that if you're not sure, and again, you can blot, because a little bit of this goes a long way. And with a distressed look, it's supposed to look imperfect, so you don't want it to be very perfect, matchy-matchy. It's just supposed to be kind of irregular, and it's all what you want. It's your piece, but I'm trying to make this match a pre-existing piece that we already have. And I just want to make sure that I'm not going too dark, so I'm going to take this rag and start wiping away. Even strokes. See, it's tinting a little bit, but it's giving that appearance of like wood grain look. Try to go in the same direction. And you can go darker in some areas, lighter in others, just to give it that distressed look. They have brown stain, they have black. I've seen in the stores. So that kind of gives you an idea of how to make a piece look distressed. And it dries pretty quickly, but again, you don't want to go too heavy because we're not looking to make an entirely dark piece. Mind you, we just had it dark. We're just trying to give it a distressed look. I put a very thin coat of the wax stain on it, very lightly, and wiped the excess off. I don't want it too dark, like I said. You don't want to work too hard because it could take some of the paint off. I'm going for the distressed look, so a little bit of the darkness in here is okay. It's going to go with the piece that I'm trying to match. But we started out white. Adding the stain kind of gives it like a tanny, mauvey distressed look. It's complete. It's almost dry. Doesn't take long for that wax to go on. I'm going to follow up lastly with the Vaspar sealing wax as a final step to seal everything in. I know it says step 2 on here, but me personally, I like to use this as the last step just to kind of seal it all in. I'm going to do the same technique that I applied the paint and the stain. I'm going to just dip my brush. I'll show you what it looks like, and just kind of brush it on, give it a minute, and then kind of go right behind it with my cloth and kind of really work it into the piece. And I'll do that all overall just to kind of give it a protective finish. Friends, so apply the final coat of sealing wax on there. To touch it, it feels a little smooth. Again, it's not a perfect piece, but it wasn't meant to look perfect. It was meant to look distressed, so there's some areas that are darker than the other. We'll get it in place, put the glass on top, and set it up in our space, and we'll show you a picture of what it looked like. It was a pleasure volunteering for the Habitat for Humanity. Hope you enjoyed this piece. Take care.